Hey there, everybody. Franklin Taggart here with the virtual coffee break, and here's my coffee. Grab your beverage. Let's chat for just a minute. A little bit late on a Thursday night, and I'm running behind on everything. You know, taxes do that. There's one thing on my mind tonight, and that is I've had a couple of people get in touch and ask me about this whole idea of is podcasting saturated, or is blogging saturated, or is, you name it, saturated. YouTube, I hear that one quite a bit too. Saturated is an interesting word. And the thing that I think that they're trying to get at is that if they were to put together a blog or a podcast or a YouTube channel, would there still be an audience for what they do? And generally what I tell them is that if you're going to be doing a general show about fishing, you're probably going to have competition from the people who have been doing that since the beginning of that particular medium. So fishing is probably a fairly saturated market. However, fly fishing on Colorado rivers is probably not all that saturated, and ultimately it could be something that would support more than one podcast, because everybody has their own expertise and their experience to bring to the table regarding fly fishing on Colorado rivers. And so that particular niche might be a really strong one. So what I would look at is that if you're thinking about starting a blog or a podcast or a YouTube channel or anything else at this point, TikTok, Pinterest, or otherwise, I think it's wise to choose a niche that is really in line with your specialty. Like, really get into some subtle details with your specialty. Like, it's not just about marketing. It's about front-end marketing to teachers. Or it's about finding readers for your cozy mystery novel. Or it's, whatever it is, we want it to be narrowed down somewhat. All the general categories, I think, have been taken for a long time, and they've been covered really, really well. And one of the things that you might notice is that the people who've been doing those podcasts for a really long time are starting to actually break out into their specialties. Some of the ones that come to my mind are people like Pat Flynn and Mike Stelzner. Pat Flynn on Smart Passive Income has been doing all kinds of different types of podcasts from his platform for the last few years that they're related to Smart Passive Income, but they're a departure from what his content was originally. Mike Stelzner from Social Media Examiner has recently just jumped off into the world of Web 3.0 and NFTs and blockchain. And I don't think he's losing sight of social media, but he is starting to look at what's next for the online realm, and what are the different ways that it's going to be supported and monetized. And that's becoming a special interest of his. So he's created a podcast now that's just about that. Another really good example that comes to mind is Guy Kawasaki. For many years, he had podcasts that were, there was one about, self-publishing. There was one that was just about kind of life hacks and stuff like that. But he's really taken to, in his latest podcast, he's really taken to his specific interest in hearing and cultivating and curating the stories of iconic people. And that is right in line with his specialty. he gets excited about, he's always been an evangelist, no matter what product or what service he was promoting. And he's just the same way with the people that he promotes on his podcast. So what I would say is, clarify what your specialty is and make your podcast about that. And for a while, it might be worthwhile to just try to get really focused and really narrow about it. It could be like, that you start out with a series that are about a very specific type of thing. Like, let's say that you're an email marketer. Well, why don't you do your first series on a 5-part welcome sequence that any email marketer can do, And that's something, again, that is a very specific activity. But you could do a whole podcast or a whole blog just on email sequences for beginners, right? So if you can narrow it down just from, email marketing would be a pretty broad topic, but narrowing it down and saying you could even specialize in a specific platform, MailChimp for beginners. Or you could say, you could have a podcast that's about the advanced features of Constant Contact, whatever it is. Finding that topic that really suits your specialty and is still something that people are looking for. I think you're golden. If you just go general and say, my podcast or my blog is about SEO. Well, SEO is a big topic now. How about if you made it about, my blog is specifically about the new Google, the Google 4 Analytics suite. That's a much more specific thing. You could make it even more specific than that. But I think that there's still room in all of the content channels for the thing that you do well, and the thing that you know the most about, and the thing that you are the most interested in. But be more specific than just, this is a show about marketing, or this is a show about art, or this is a show about science. Narrow it down a little bit, and I think you're going to find that the audience that you're looking for may also be looking for you. So that's my 2 bits for tonight. I'm going to cut it a little bit short, get moving, finish up my taxes, and get ready for my podcast panel tomorrow. I hope whatever it is where you are is a good one. And thank you again, as always, for sharing your time and your attention with me. I'll be back again tomorrow. So long.